Alright, top tier, no artillery. Should obviously push Valley. You could play it one of two ways. You can go over K line to 0, or you can actually play the middle here. It's not a bad play in the jumbo. A lot of it depends on what your team does, though, so we shall see.
Time to roll out.
Gonna go Billy Goat up the mountain. Oh yeah. Here we go. The Valley Rush for the win. Say, do you have a platoon? You have a Leopard in your platoon. That's it. I guess we'll see what happens there. It's actually not, like, if you're gonna do a lull rush up the valley, it's probably best to do a lull rush up the valley if there's no artillery and you have reasonable armor for the tier. And so the idea is that what you want to do if you do this is you want to push up here and light first and see what's there. Your guys were aggressive through the middle. And see how you have the M6 and the PZ4D with you? This is what I call committing too much weight, and a T67 in the back. It's committing too much weight, so you know you want to be sure that you push through here if you do this. And you could probably load gold for the KV1 frontally. Yeah, the angle that you're at is not gonna damage him if you shoot the side like that. You did drop the shell through the top of the drive wheel there, but that works. Yeah, see, they've got a lot in the valley too, so you actually probably would have been more productive going elsewhere, but at this point, just take what they're giving you. You know that there's a stug down there too, so you gotta be careful of that. But see how you're like basically protected from those guys on the right, so they can't shoot you, so that's good. This M6 is really struggling to pen you, so you don't have to keep going back and forth like you are. You're going back for a little bit too much. Good job, and then now just look to bully this side. He's shooting HE, so he's not going to be a problem. So I always deprioritize whoever's shooting HE. At least if you have anything else to shoot at.
Enemy armor is destroyed. Enemy armor is hit. We didn't even scratch them.
Yeah, you don't really have a good shot on that type of game. So you're basically trading 2 shots for 1 right now. They're getting 2 shots on you, and you're only getting 1. So just make sure that yours count. Like, you can do what you're doing because of the tank you're in, but just be careful. And then if you kill the VK. VK, bigger problem. Could have saved you 100 health, 141 health. He's shooting HE, so try to keep your armor face to him, just the front. There you go. You don't need to juke as much because he's shooting HE, so wherever it hits, it's just going to explode. Oh, look, he went to AP. A little bit too late. So they're pushing through, but they're actually pushing through slowly. You actually won your side before they won theirs. You still got some base defense. So I'd get on cap and put some cap pressure on, see if they come to you. And then what you should do is maybe split the Leo out or something. Actually, right at this point, you should probably just both get on cap, because that's really the only chance you have to win. Is that if you both get on cap. Well, this guy needs to make sure he doesn't get himself killed. And the Nishorn is one of the few tanks that can just penetrate you like butter frontally, so be a little bit careful with this. Unfortunately, you lost your Leopard, which was the last bit of leverage that you had. because basically if the leopard could get on cap behind you, you could screen him, right? And then these guys have to come back. But a Wolverine and a Chinu you could deal with. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. The Wolverine would be a bigger threat than the Chinu, but you could at least shoot them. It's like you didn't expect that guy to be there. It's pretty much the only side they would have come from. Just make your shots count. There you go. Just take your time. Well, I'm not really sure where that M8 was shooting. Well, they got off the cap. They're like, yeah, we don't need to cap. And it's probably the leopard, so the leopard might be coming through the back. Oh, no, they both got on cap. Never mind. I'm guessing their Wolverine did not come back and he went forward, so the only thing that's there for you is the M8. Lol, leopard.
Penetration. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And then you're not married to the cap, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Nice try. Okay, so your first mistake was actually going Valley. I don't know. Even on Lakeville, if you're just doing it for lulz, that's fine. But strategically speaking, you should never go Valley. Like I said, if you want to do it for funsies, that's fine, but don't ever think that going Valley is what's going to win you games. It doesn't. The game this particular map is won out here, both in the middle and or in the city. And it seemed like there was a lot of opportunity, given the fact that they had a lot of their heavy tanks in the valley here, that you would have actually had an easier time mopping up over here, right? While all these guys were just sort of sitting over here with their thumbs up their ears, you could have been cleaning up the town. And that probably would have been a more effective use of your time. But barring that, if you like I said, just want to do it for funsies and charge up here, that's pretty much the way that you should do it. Take what they're giving you. I felt like you could have shot that 3001H. Instead, you took a shot at the Type 58, and that basically cost you 141 health. Small exchanges like that, target selection. Identify which guys are using HE, and deprioritize that to the guys that are actually dealing damage. Otherwise, I thought it was pretty straightforward, but yeah, if your team had more support out here, it might have been actually a different story. And so if we look at the stats, you did 4K damage and a jumbo, which is fantastic. It's hard to beat that, but your team didn't really do a whole lot. But yeah, just imagine if you were in the city helping them. Yeah, so let's identify the tanks that they had in the valley, right? It was KV-1, M6, Hetzer, where was it? Type 58, and the 3001H, I think, was there. The D, yeah, the D is the one that came later and killed you. And in the middle lane, they had the Nashorn. The M8 was probably around there someplace. So that means on the other side, the biggest thing that they had was the KV-85, which would have been a tough matchup, and the Cheeto. But yeah, you probably would have been better matching up against what they had in the town than actually matching up in the valley. But shooting wise, yeah, pretty good game. Just work a little bit on the shot selection. GG. Alright, so we got one more here. Alright, so T62A, Serene Coast. Let's see. You're faster than they are. Just barely. But yeah, we'll probably go one line. You can spot 4 line to start if you want, but I would go one line. So what you want to be able to do is you want to suppress them from being able to basically breach the B2 area. You want to keep them back, and if you keep them back, that's all you really want to do, and then you can just leave. Just once people get here, it's just more sheltered, but you have an advantage because you can get there faster. Well, maybe not faster than their bat chat, but we'll see what the bat chat does. Clipped by an E100. And then as always, look and see what your team is doing. You're sending some heavies east, not that bad. You're sending a E5 to the southwest. Yeah, that's pretty bad. You got a bunch of guys in front of you, so those guys can spot. So I would actually, you know, maybe like run this ridge a little bit more, because these guys are going to get up there before you. So what you want to be able to do is see if you can pick up anything on the way in. Like there's that T-54, which you're not going to get shots on. You can get shots on this guy by playing near this wall.
It's a trap!
Fine. If he wants to push, that's fine. You got more than enough backup there. If he wants to do nothing. Yeah, and then so push back up here, right? So they do have a GWE. You want to try to get some shots off, but you keep yourself moving. You still have an advantage. Just keep pushing forward here. You can haul down.
It's a trap!
These guys are not the threat. The only threat to you right now is the artillery. So get your shots in. What you want to try to do is you want to try to back them off of this area here. And remember, these guys are not a threat to you. It's the artillery that's the threat to you right now. So like the longer that you let him keep you lit without actually you getting some shots off is a win for them. You don't want to sit here. Again, this is artillery bait. You're losing the other side pretty badly. They're also breaking up the middle. You need to try to back off the type. So go over here. See how the pattern's creeping up. Okay. It's time to go back to base now. You're gonna lose this middle here, which is gonna allow them to get some level of encapsulate. So the sheltered position that you've been in, you're about to lose it. Because this place is really good for fighting these guys right here, which is why you've taken, you know, 0 damage so far. But I feel like you didn't leverage it quite well enough. Patton's behind you. Get Patton. He's running away. I wouldn't worry too much about him. at this point, just take your shots where you can get them.
It's a trap!
You're gonna need to push back to base eventually, though, because you did lose it. I don't think you're really gonna have too good of shots on that T-54. You do need to kind of figure out where that E-75 went, if you can. There he is. Try to pick up that E-75. STI, where's, oh, I see where the STI is. Okay, yeah, I would ignore the E-75, just go back. The E-75 is inconsequential, he's not going to be able to catch up to you in time. It's like both you and the 140 should go back. Because you're not going to be able to outcap them at this point, they've already basically controlled your base. Yeah, like, so this E-75 is out of the play, and so I don't think that shooting him is really useful for either of you guys, unfortunately. Especially if your 140 tracks himself right in front of him. Well, now you have to try to shoot the E-75 because your 140 is already committed. But yeah, this...
It's a trap!
Just push him. Just push him. You're gonna lose either way. You should push him. Absolutely. 100%.
It's a trap!
I find it interesting that the artillery wasn't really shooting in your direction as well. Because you weren't really artillery safe for very much of this match. The E5 went low, so I would still push down the one line. And this is the thing, it's like if you have speed, I mean, I don't think that you're going to win this either way, but if you have speed, really what you want to do is you want to change your position. You don't want to be stuck in an area where... Ooh. Oh, rushed it. Yeah, but he low rolled. And then the bounce. No, you might as well take the 50B. Yeah. So anyways, I felt like you didn't leverage this well enough. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Oh well. You're gonna have to look at it through the through this thing. But anyways, when you were in this C1 area, I felt like you could have leveraged this a lot better. There was a lot of times where you were just lit just for the sake of being lit. You weren't getting shots. You weren't doing anything. I felt if you could have pushed forward more on this one line here, you could have gotten better shots on these guys. It also would have lit the 122-54. Yes, maybe he would have shot you, but he would have been lit, and then you would have known where he is. And then where he was at was not a very good position, and you could have held down against that 122-54 as well. You want to back them off of this area or kill whatever's there as soon as possible and then get back. And then it really feels like after that you just lingered there for too long. That E75 was completely out of the play. Both of you guys could have gone back to the base and been more effective. The E75 was never going to catch up. He was never going to do anything of significance. So that's the thing about playing the medium tanks, is that you get to dictate a lot of encounters. You get to say, I want to fight this guy, or I don't want to fight this guy, right? You get to do that, you know, and you have to make sure that you use that to your advantage. And the way that you lose that advantage is if you play really static, if you only sit in one area and don't make those decisions. And that's, I think, not that that would have saved you in this particular game, because I don't think that your team did a whole lot of damage there. But, you know, when you're playing in a relatively fast tank, that's what you want to do. You want to look around the map and say, okay, well, this is a bad situation where I'm at, but I'm in a fast tank, so I can just leave. And then you just leave, right? You disengage and you go someplace where there's a good situation. I felt like you actually had a good situation there. You just didn't quite press it hard enough, at least early on. And then late, you just kind of lingered there a little bit too long. And so if we look at the stats, your team didn't do horribly. That 140 that was with you, although most of his damage was late game, did like 3k. But yeah, would have been nice if you got a little bit more out of your heavies that went to the east, but such is life. Not too bad. GG.